Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the Arreqqana people, a society where the very definition of love has completely transformed their culture from the inside out. We're going to look at how this incredible evolution unfolded over just a few generations.
So, let's start with this question, because it gets right to the absolute core of the Arreqqana philosophy. For them, love isn't just about romance between two people. It's way bigger than that. It's about purpose, destiny, and literally weaving the fabric of their future.
And the answer to that big question really comes down to this one amazing concept: resonant evolution. The idea is that when two different heritages come together, they don't just cancel each other out. No, they create something entirely new, a unique harmony, a third song. And this idea is going to be our guide for today's explainer.
To really understand this profound shift, we're going to trace this cultural song through three distinct generations, starting with the elders who guarded that original melody.
Okay, first up, let's look at the elders. These are the keepers of tradition, the spiritual anchors of their communities. Their perspective is really the bedrock that everything else evolved from.
So for the elder generation, marriage wasn't really about passion in the way we might think of it. The main drivers, duty and stability. Their whole belief was that unions existed to preserve the spiritual equilibrium of their ancestral lines. It was a sacred and very serious responsibility.
They saw their heritage as these sacred threads of continuity. So blending those threads, well, that was a big deal. It wasn't something you did lightly. It required these ancient rituals to actually merge the spirits of two different houses. But what's really interesting is that even back then, you could see the seeds of change. Some elders were already starting to see these new unions as signs of their goddess's evolving song.
And this saying, it just captures their worldview perfectly, doesn't it? It's this beautiful balance of caution and wisdom, acknowledging the importance of purity while also having the vision to see that blending might just be what carries the future forward.
All right, so let's move on to the next generation. These are the folks who really became the bridge between that old world and the new one that was just starting to emerge. They are the weavers of transition.
And here, wow, you see a huge shift. The main reason for a union moves away from just duty and towards personal connection, love, and mutual respect. The core belief becomes something they call love by sight of the soul. How beautiful is that?
And this didn't happen in a vacuum. Their own life experiences directly shaped this new way of thinking. This was the first generation to move to cities, to attend universities with people from all over. So their exposure to diversity naturally fostered relationships built on a deeper, spiritual level. This led to new, blended rituals and this incredible idea of seeing a partner's soul.
This quote from the Temple Records just wonderfully sums up the spirit of this middle generation. It's not about conflict or one culture winning out. It's about creating a single, more beautiful piece of music, together.
And that brings us to the modern era and the really revolutionary mindset of the youth, a generation they call the flame-born. Okay, so this is a complete reframing of the whole idea. For their parents and grandparents, maybe marrying outside one's heritage was an act of bravery or even a little bit of rebellion. But for the flame-born, it's the total opposite. It's seen as the ultimate act of reverence and devotion. In this philosophy, it's not just some idea they talk about. It's a lived reality. It's actually fashionable to date someone from a different region. Couples wear these cool dialect charms. They create playful hybrid languages. And of course, they celebrate their love all over social media. For them, heritage isn't a wall you have to defend. It's like a form of art that you get to share and blend. And the social impact of all this is just staggering. Get this. The average family acceptance score for these unions is nearly 9 out of 10. This is not some fringe movement we're talking about. This is the new cultural mainstream. And this line, it just brilliantly captures the emotional truth behind that number. It's from a young student poet, and it basically became an anthem for the flame-born. It's all about evolution, not abandonment. It's about taking the traditions of the past and giving them new life, new movement, new joy. So, how is this philosophy actually translated into a lived experience? Well, it's beautifully expressed in one of their most sacred traditions, the marriage ceremony or the chalasser's nunather. At the very heart of the ceremony is the binding rite. It's a sequence of these deeply symbolic actions. First, there's an offering of self. Then, the physical binding, which unites them not just hand to hand, but as they say, soul through soul. And finally, the fusion, a tangible, visible representation of their two heritages becoming one indivisible whole. Every single detail just reinforces this beautiful theme of fusion. The central altar has a dual-colored flame that shifts and blends right before your eyes. The embroidery on their clothes literally intertwines their two family sigils into a brand new, shared pattern called the cassoral knot. The whole thing is a visual feast of unity.
So what's the real-world legacy of this cultural shift? Well, the impact on Arreqqana society has been tangible, powerful, and honestly, just overwhelmingly positive.
This chart tells the whole story in one simple visual. Just look at that acceleration. From only 12% among the elder generation, the rate has more than quadrupled, with nearly half of all young people now choosing to marry outside their heritage. That is a cultural revolution in just 3 generations.
And the social impact is fascinating. These blended unions actually report stronger communication, having learned from both sides. And as you can see from the data, they are statistically more resilient, with a lower separation rate than single heritage unions. That high social acceptance just proves this has been a successful and stable evolution for their entire culture.
We'll end with this powerful thought that captures the very essence of the flame-born generation's philosophy. Love isn't about escaping your roots or forgetting your past. It's an act of historical gratitude, a way to honor the collective progress of their entire civilization.
And this leaves us with a question to reflect on. The story of the Arreqqana is such a testament to the power of resonant evolution. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What new harmonies, what beautiful new songs might we discover in our own world if we embrace this idea of teaching our roots to dance?